Hi Rockets! Today we're going to read one of my favorite stories from our clothing study. We're going to read The Paper Bag Princess, story by Robert Munsch and art by Michael Marchenko. In The Paper Bag Princess, Princess Elizabeth is a fancy princess with fancy princess clothes who will marry a prince named Ronald. But unfortunately, a dragon comes, smashes up her castle, and burns off all of her expensive princess clothes. We're going to read this story to find out how Princess Elizabeth gets Ronald back and what happens once she doesn't have all of those fancy princess things. Let's get started. This is The Paper Bag Princess. Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. She was going to marry a prince named Ronald. Elizabeth has hearts all around her. She's looking at Ronald like she's thinking, oh, I cannot wait to marry him. But look at Ronald. He's turned away from Elizabeth. He looks like this. I wonder what he's thinking. Unfortunately, a dragon smashed her castle, burned all her princess clothes with his fiery breath, and carried off Prince Ronald. Elizabeth decided to chase the dragon and get Ronald back. She looked everywhere for something to wear, but the only thing she could find that was not burnt was a paper bag. So she put on the paper bag and followed the dragon. Look at her. She doesn't look like a fancy princess with expensive princess clothes anymore, but she's decided to go save Ronald from a dragon. That's pretty brave. I wonder if it's more important to look like a fancy princess or to act brave when you're a princess. Let's keep reading. Maybe we'll be able to figure it out by the end. The dragon was easy to follow because he left a trail of burnt forest and horses' bones. Finally, Elizabeth came to a cave with a large door that had a huge knocker on it. She took hold of the knocker and banged on the door. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Well, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." And he slammed the door so fast that Elizabeth almost got her nose caught. Whoa. Elizabeth grabbed the knocker and banged on the door again. So Elizabeth tried to go meet that dragon. Look how big it is. He just ate a whole castle. He slammed the door in her face. She could just run home. But instead, she's banging on the door again. It seems like she's not going to give up until she can save Prince Ronald. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Go away. I love to eat princesses, but I have already eaten a whole castle today. I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." "Wait," shouted Elizabeth. "Is it true that you are the smartest and fiercest dragon in the whole world?" "Yes," said the dragon. Wait a minute. Elizabeth just asked him if he was the smartest and fiercest dragon in the whole world, and he didn't slam the door on her again. I think that she's up to something. I think she has a plan, and it might be a tricky plan. So not only is she brave, she didn't give up and go home when the dragon slammed the door on her, but she also is really clever. She has a plan. She's smart. "Is it true," said Elizabeth, "that you can burn up 10 forests with your fiery breath?" "Oh yes," said the dragon, and he took a huge deep breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 50 forests. "Fantastic," said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath and breathed out so much fire that he burned up 100 forests. magnificent," said Elizabeth. And the dragon took another huge breath, but this time, nothing came out. The dragon didn't even have enough fire left to cook a meatball. So Elizabeth asked him to breathe out a lot of fire. And he did, and now he doesn't have any fire left. Let's see what she's going to do next. Elizabeth said, "Dragon, is it true that you can fly around the world in just 10 seconds? "Why, yes," said the dragon, and jumped up and flew all the way around the world in just 10 seconds. He was very tired when he got back, but Elizabeth shouted, "Fantastic! Do it again." So the dragon jumped up and flew around the whole world in just 20 seconds. When he got back, he was too tired to talk, and he lay down and went straight to sleep. So first he breathed out all his fire so he doesn't have any fire left to fight with, and now he's used up all his energy flying around the world. He's so tired he fell asleep. I think Elizabeth's plan worked. Elizabeth whispered very softly, "Hey, dragon." The dragon didn't move at all. She lifted up the dragon's ear and put her head right inside. She shouted as loud as she could, "Hey, dragon!" And the dragon was so tired, he didn't even move. So now he's got no fire, he's so tired, and look, here's Prince Ronald waiting to be saved. What do you think Elizabeth will do next? Elizabeth walked right over the dragon and opened up the door to the cave. There was Prince Ronald, and he looked at her and said, "Elizabeth, you are a mess. You smell like ashes, your hair is all tangled, and you're wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back when you're dressed like a real princess." Wait a minute. Elizabeth just tricked a dragon. She just walked all the way from the castle. She was super brave. She made a whole plan to save him. And all he has to say is come back when you're dressed like a real princess. Look at Elizabeth's face. How do you think she's feeling? Prince Ronald still has on his expensive prince clothes. He looks like a fancy prince, but that was not very nice. Let's see what Elizabeth will say back to him. "Ronald," said Elizabeth, "your clothes are really pretty, and your hair is very neat." Yeah, he still looks like he still has expensive clothes on. He still looks like what we think of a prince looking like. "You look like a real prince, but you are not." And they didn't get married after all. And that's the end of the story. How does Elizabeth look like she's feeling to not marry Prince Ronald? At first I thought she might be sad because she really wanted to marry him at the beginning, but she's jumping up and down. She doesn't look sad. I think that at the end of the story, Elizabeth realized that it doesn't matter if you have fancy clothes, but it's more important that you're nice, that you're brave, that you're clever, and that Prince Ronald was not really any of those things. He wasn't very nice at the end. He wasn't very brave. He didn't try to escape from the dragon himself. He didn't have a plan. He just waited for Elizabeth to save him. That was The Paper Bag Princess. In this story, we got to read about Princess Elizabeth, how she saves Prince Ronald, and how she's pretty different from a lot of the other princesses I've read about before. I hope you enjoyed this story, getting to read about a different kind of princess. And I will see you next time. Bye, Rockets.